hours are making impact in the Bahamas, the northwestern Bahamas to be more specific, including the islands of Abaco Islands and also Grand Bahama Island as well. Take a live look here from Nassau, Bahama. You're thinking, oh, it's not that bad. Well, it isn't, because Nassau is about 100 miles away from the center of Dorian, but we still will have some impacts. We're under a hurricane warning here in Nassau, and you can see that even the trees there blowing in the wind. Now take a look at the stat frame and showing a satellite loop. You can see that center is well-defined, 175 mile per hour hurricane as it turns on towards the Bahamas. In fact, we have that close-up satellite loop we can show you. Now, the actual, well, you see the winds here. It's sustained there on Great Guanacaste at 29.
Wow, look at that thing, it's massive.
There you go. There's even plenty of lightning in the eye wall showing the intensity of the system. It's moving on towards all those islands there. That's the Abaco Islands and a lot of small keys there as well. And then just to the west of there is Grand Bahama Island. And the western point of Grand Bahama Island is only 60 miles from the east coast of Florida. Which means, look at it, it's moving dead west right now. It continues to move through or towards the Abacos, then on towards Grand Bahama, then after that, at South Florida, including the Palm Beaches as well. I want to bring in on the phone here, we have Bill Johnson. He's the Palm Beach County EMA Director. And thanks for joining us this morning. I know you guys are busy because now you've also issued mandatory, the Palm Beach County officials, mandatory evacuation orders for the entire town, which includes everyone in the evacuation zone B as of 1 o'clock today. Talk about how you're feeling now, knowing that Dorian has now increased to 175 miles per hour and still moving towards South Florida.
Well, thanks, Paul. I'm not feeling very good about that. I'm hoping that the forecasts hold steady and keep that turn to the north, to the right. But we are, in a preponderance of safety, we are opening 7 general population shelters and special needs shelter and doing the evacuation zone, or evacuation as you alluded to. So we're doing our best to try to stay ahead of this and hoping that this makes that turn.
And Mr. Johnson, I know that people are watching this and seeing the forecast. They don't care if it's strengthened. The center is not going to hit us here in the Palm Beaches. They're not leaving. What is your message to those people?
Well, I'm a Hurricane Andrew survivor. It went right over my house, so I know what it's like to have a storm that's of this intensity. It's important that we take all of this stuff seriously. I hope everyone is heeds our directions and takes these last few hours to make sure that they're fully prepared and self-sufficient for several days, because there could be a fair amount of damage that if this storm does any wobbling.
Wow, look at that thing.
Yeah, especially even if it doesn't make landfall, you're still going to have impacts as well. Let's talk about people evacuating there, the shelters that are opening up. Will there be designated shelters that people can bring their full-legged family members, their pets, their dogs, their cats, and etc.?
Yes, we do have a pet-friendly shelter, so and folks have registered for that, and we've got that up and running. We'll have that up shortly. Staff are there right now. It's not open quite yet. We're just making the final preparation. So we're feeling confident that
hurricane
all of our
evacuation
activities are in place. We're hoping that every resident of Palm Beach County has their plan in place.
Crazy.
And for the residents that are asked to evacuate, how should they prepare? Do they have to bring food and water with them, or just the basics like some clothing as well as any medicine they might need?
You took all of my line. The important thing is that those that need to evacuate should evacuate, and we encourage people to go miles, not hundreds of miles. So we encourage folks to stay in Palm Beach County, because getting on the road and trying to outrun a storm is not the best decision.
That's great advice. That is Bill Johnson, the Palm Beach County EMA Director. Again, Palm Beach County under mandatory evacuations for Zone B starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's all in advance of Hurricane Dorian. And the important thing to remember is if you have to evacuate, you don't have to go, say, to Georgia. You can go to, say, Miami or onto Key Largo. You want to stay away from the water because there's still be a surge risk and even mainly a rip current risk, but that also will be out of direct harm's way, so you don't have to drive for 3 days to evacuate here in Florida. I know you're surrounded on three sides by